Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are coming up to the end of day 3. May I please present the Executive Director of VSTE, Ms. Karen Richardson. Give it up.
You guys just warm my heart with that little woo thing. That's going to stick with me. So anyway, welcome to the end of the conference. It's hard to believe. I will have lots of thank yous to say after this closing session, but I just want to make a brief comment about this closing session. We are really kind of crowdsourcing this from amongst our own. Kim Wilkins was great. I love Kim. She's actually a member of VSTE. Thought Eric Scheninger's message on Monday was terrific, but honestly, in the world of VSTE, you people are the smartest people in the room. Oh, and that means you need to go to another room. I forgot that part, so don't leave yet. But anyway, we really want to take advantage of the great enthusiasm and intelligence of our members and friends who are here at the conference. So that's the whole sort of impetus behind this closing session. We'll be doing the, really what's the first annual demo slam. So we had folks who participated earlier. We've got 5 great winners. They're gonna come up and do their thing. And then you as the audience will have a chance to vote for the winner of that. Following that, we have a series of Ignite talks from several board members, but also from several very courageous VSTE members who are going to participate as well and share some of their excitement with you. So that's really the goal here. If you see what you like, come talk to me. We can figure out how to get you involved in the future as well. But this is our day kind of together. I feel like it's our chance as our little family, or big family as it were, to really celebrate us, celebrate VSTE, celebrate the great time that we have had together. So that being said, I don't want to blab too much because I am going to kick it off here. It is my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Nelson from Lexia Learning. Jennifer is one of our corporate partners. Well, Lexia Learning is one of our corporate partners, right? But we're happy to have Jennifer. Our corporate partners are year-long partnerships for us. They're what allow us to do things not just here at the conference, but all the events we do throughout the year. And if you get into the calendar of events at the beginning of January, there's a whole lot going on already in 2018. So with no further ado, I'm going to invite Jennifer and up to the stage to talk a little bit about Lexia and then kick off our demo slam.
Thank you, everybody. We're really happy to be here supporting this conference. Thanks to everyone who came to the sessions and stopped by our booth. But one of the things that stood out to me when I first got here were the technology standards for instructional personnel. So I noticed you guys are revamping that, and the first thing on there was to be a lifelong learner. And everyone here, I think it's safe to say, is a lifelong learner. And at Lexia, that's something that we try to instill with everyone we work with. So just want you to consider how different that might be for you if you weren't a very good reader. So if you think of all the things you've learned in your life, most of that has been through reading. And when we look at literacy across the United States and think about 4th grade students who aren't reading on level are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. And then when you think about only 36% of 4th graders are reading on level, it gets a little scarier. And you can trace those students all the way back to pre-K, to kindergarten, and see that most of those students are coming in knowing 30 million less words than some of their peers. So the best thing we can do for kids, and I know you guys think about this all the time, is to teach them to read. Make sure they are confident, proficient readers by the time they hit 3rd grade, because at that point, we all know they're going to be reading to learn. So if they're behind on that, then it's going to be hard to teach them much else. So with that being said, let's get on to what you're all here for, the VSTE Demo Slam Finals. Your moderator for today, if you were lucky enough to attend a session earlier, he has created some ed camps called unconferences, which, as he said, will bring PD down, boring PD down to 0, I think is what I read. He also makes some pretty amazing cookies, I've also heard, but an educator, currently the instructional coordinator at Arlington Public Schools. So please welcome Mr. Sam Whiteman.
Hello, everyone. So I didn't even know I was getting that much of an intro because my job today is actually to introduce these folks behind me who are aiming for the Demo Slam Championship title. All right? So In case you saw a little bit of chaos earlier, I did happen to have misplaced it, but we found it luckily enough. Santa did not have it. Justin was trying to get it, but we're good to go. So we've got 5 people here who championed out yesterday during the Demo Slam, and they're going to present to you 5 different cool tools. At the end, you're going to get a chance to vote who brings home the championship. All right?
The only woman up here.
Or we could base it on purely on the presentation skills. Whatever you feel is best. All right, so without further ado, we're going to start out with Justin, who's going to explain everything.
Both of us reach all the way over here. Who's timing?
Start him now.
Did it come on plug?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Plugged in?
Look at the screen to your left. Go. Okay. My name is Justin Berkler, and I am going to explain everything with one simple app. So you can actually disregard the remaining 4 people because I'm going to explain everything. So this app that I'm showing you is called Explain Everything. It runs on iOS, every single platform possible. What it is, it's an interactive screencasting whiteboard. So I use it in my math class for my flipped classroom, so I can record me modeling a long division problem. So I know that there are 1, 5, and 7, and I can go through, and let's say I make a mistake, and I said that that's 3. Rather than having to start this entire video over, I can pause the video, I can back it up, and I can edit just that section. I don't have to redo the entire video. But you can use that for more than just math. For instance, I can use it for language arts. Mr. B's slam was unforgettable. I want to break that down into prefix, suffix, and root word. So I want to break that down into un, meaning not, forgettable, we obviously know what forgettable, and able. So this is not able to be forgotten, as you're going to find out. You can also use this for timelines. It's a really good way to make an interactive timeline, and you can do using this, and it's going to have, so this is a timeline of Nelson Mandela's life, and so we can put it that apartheid began here, he was jailed here, and he wrote a memoir here, and you can see you can bring in images as well. But show of hands, how many people are ITRTs or tech coaches out here? So you might want to teach your people keyboard shortcuts. And so what you can do is that there's even a laser pointer here, and you can laser point, you can say if you do Control plus X, that'll be cut, so on and so forth. How many? 15? And so I'm just going to wrap that up here with this video.
Hold on, it's broken. Hold on. There you go.
Did you just?
No, it's that'll get it. It's better. All right.
All right.
You get 5 seconds to explain your video. Go.
Well, it doesn't matter.
All right. Have a good one. Yeah, Justin. All right. Next up. Bring it up. Marnie up. Next up, Marnie Hawk is going to show you how to hack a Google Chromebook.
I kind of felt like my demo stood on its own, so I didn't have to steal from the other people up here.
All right. Say when you're ready.
I have to work over here. Okay, these are Chromebook hacks. I'm Marnie from Loudoun County. Woo woo. All right, so I'm working on my Google Doc, and I want to write how. Oops, I did that wrong already. Isn't that how things work? How to make a Sazerac. Well, so it's not my laptop, so it's not working. But if I wanted to make those caps or uncaps, I would simply change that by doing that. Anyway, we're going to move on. How do I, remember, people who use the Chromebooks, they can never download, they download it and they can't find it on the Chromebook. Like, where did it go? Why isn't it in my drive? So all you have to do is you click Control-J and it brings up all of your downloads. Boom, done. Wait, I'm a bad kid looking up how to make a Sazerac in class because you're not allowed to do that, Drink of New Orleans. You have to you're walking around the classroom going, what were you doing? What were you doing? And so all you have to do is click Control-H. The entire history comes up, boom, without having to look through what the kid was looking for. And if you don't tell them how to get rid of it, they're stuck. So the last thing, and I know everyone has seen this one. Wait on, shift. This one, everyone's favorite. How many of you have teachers coming to you saying, oh my God, what do I do? I can't use it. I have class next. So instead of me plugging in other people's crap like we all do, I say you go figure it out, Google it. But now I can just teach them how to fix it themselves because the kids, they come automatically with the knowledge of how to flip the screen and drive you nuts. So how do I do all of this? If you have a Chromebook, get it out. I want you to hit Control, Alt, and the question mark. And it's upside down. Damn it. Control, sorry for those of you who care. Here we go. So all you got to do, this is a shortcut. So you can hold down the keys and it tells you exactly what those shortcut keys are. Hold them together. It gives me all the different codes. Done. Boom. Look at that. And go. All you do is escape and use it up. Done.
All right, Matt Newton with Google Tone. All right. Ready?
HDMI sound. I think you pulled it up.
I'm going to take this off so that Mike has his that.
Put that one down. Yep. Here's your HDMI. Here's your sound. Sure. That's good. Yep. Rounds. Red button.
You're like, nope, that's not a thing. Ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
All right, hi everybody, I'm Matt from Virginia Tech, also right here in Roanoke City. I hope you guys have enjoyed your time in my town here today. I expect a lot of you, since you're classroom teachers, ITRT, technology folks, you have a lot of experience or are very familiar with having carts of laptops, or things like that, Chromebooks in your classroom and trying to get 30 different kids on the same web page at the same time during your instruction. Now, savvy educators, I'm sure you found ways to do this, whether putting links in a hyperdocument up on the board or on your web page, but we all know that the best teaching sometimes happens on the spur of the moment, and when those teachable moment happens. So if you are on the Smithsonian.com website perhaps, and you wanted to come, and you went through and you all of a sudden discovered that mongooses have diverse immigration policies, and you wanted to talk a little bit more about that, but you didn't want to go around waiting 50 minutes in a 60-minute class period for every student to get onto that website, and you didn't want to go around and type all of those URLs in to get all 30 of your kids on there before the class was over. If you have the Google Tone extension loaded on your computer as well as on your student's computer, all you would need to do is this. And this Tone broadcasts that URL to every one of your students' computers. They'll have a little pop-up with your face on it that says, Matt Newton is trying to share this website with you. Would you like to click the link and go to it? Now, if you're concerned, if you're a teacher like I was in the past, then maybe every once in a while look at your bank account on your teacher computer or check your email and are afraid somebody's going to go up there and click that. Please know that it only broadcasts the URL, not the login credentials, so they would only be taken to bankofamerica.com, etc. Okay?
15
also,
seconds.
for students that are sharing, if you're worried about students sharing a website with another one across the room using this method, there's no way to do it secretly. You're going to hear the tone. Thank you.
All right, next up is Mike Siddell with JS Timeline.
Mike, we do VGA to you.
Yeah, we did VGA.
Okay, take your sound because we need sound, right?
Yeah, for the next one.
Yep, go ahead.
I need VGA.
Yep, give me a second. Don't come back.
Pretty much.
Okay. I get your VGA, you get the sound.
What is the price? A bucket of M&Ms. All right. Yeah, you do. Ready?
Nope.
Nope.
Try duplicating for me real quick, Mike.
I think you take care of it. I don't use this machine.
I don't use this machine either. Here we go.
It's on duplicate.
Mm.
Do you want to do VGA?
Clifton, I'm still to that output, right? All right, hold on. Is there an ITRT in the house? No, I think we're good. I just need to. I need to scale it right. Who was that?
That would be no good.
1287.20.
No.
Ooh.
I can hear it.
Uh-oh.
No, that's something else.
Come on now. Sorry, Mike. We had this working, man. All right.
You want to do HTML?
Nope. We're who's next?
Next up,
He's
we're
got a
gonna
gentleman has to
go.
use my laptop.
Wait, is there anybody else after?
Nope.
I can't remember.
Preston's
All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hack this real quick. Karen. Let's have a 90-second song and dance.
Second song and dance.
It's recognizing it, Charlie.
Directly into the
Hey!
All right.
Oh, you want me to do it down there?
Yep.
Yep.
Lost and found. While we're at it, I can only wear one pair of glasses at a time, so is anybody lost a nice pair of readers? Looks like this, red, yellow, or no? Yes, no, maybe? That could also be your problem. Check your neighbor next to you, make sure they can read. All right, we tried.
We can talk about plagiarism now if you would like. That would be great.
Also, I was also instructed all the lost and found items can be found by the hotel. So if you did lose your readers, if you did lose your cell phone, if you did lose your pocket change of $10,000, it's over there in the front end. Will be turned in the hotel. Yeah, that's where it is. Yeah, that's what I thought I said. They're trying to hook up from another end, so we might only have it on this side. Should we give Preston stage time for now? Nope. So what was your favorite presentation so far? Go. I meant over. Oh, well, yeah, we can do that too. I was trying not to vote so we don't influence, but that's cool too. Outside of this, what was your favorite presentation so far? This morning? You mean when you went to the breakout EDU session with Molly and me? That was pretty awesome. You're right about that. Here we go, Justin. No, wait, it's coming up.
Need sound.
Mike, come on up. Where's Mike? Oh,
I'm going to be over here.
go. All right, Mike.
So, am I on the clock?
Yep.
Guess so. So the service that I want to show you guys is a wonderful tool on how to create beautiful timelines with your students, and you create it via a Google spreadsheet. Sounds kind of counterproductive. Most teachers would rather just copy and paste a whole table into Word and drive their TRTs crazy. So what you need to do is, say for example, this is actually a timeline that somebody created, and you can see there's actually the ability to embed YouTube videos, and all the things right here, there's a timeline right across the bottom. All you need to do is click, and it flows nice and easy. But what it looks like is, this is the spreadsheet that you use. You fill in your information right here. I have done that right here. So I filled in, this is a FLE module on the development of a baby. And this is what it actually looks like when it's created. All I have to do is click here, and you can see right down here I have my timeline. I can click there. It slides right to wherever I want. I have YouTube videos embedded. You can embed Google Maps. You can embed all kinds of cool stuff. But if I want to change something in my spreadsheet, so let's say, for example, I go over here, and I want change the background color. I don't want it to be gray anymore. I just delete that. And if I refresh right here, you'll see that my first slide is actually changed. If you notice, it was gray before. Now it's white. If I'd like to have a background of an image, let's say, for example, I want to picture this baby right here and this. All I need to do is copy that URL, paste it right here under the background, paste it in, refresh my timeline, and you'll see the background has a new timeline. All right? Yeah, exactly. So all you need to do is use this service. The name of this service is called JS Timeline by Knight Labs at Northwestern University.
15 seconds.
I'm all done.
Thank you so much. All right. And finally, Preston is coming down with the Eclipse app.
Where's the
Are you
sound
connected on there,
come out of
Justin?
this thing?
Preston?
I have no idea.
That's what I meant.
I don't know.
So yours is
What's
right
up?
then.
You ready?
No.
No. Okay. Connect on there, my friend. All right.
All right. Where's the sound come out of this thing?
A speaker here. I don't know, let's find out. You want me to hold the other mic while you're...
Can you hold this one?
Yep.
Because I'm going to talk to myself
Oh, wait.
from there.
Are you ready? Clifton, you the man. Can we all give a round of applause for our amazing folks here at the Hotel Roanoke? All right, now you should be good to go. Preston, I'm going to hand it over to you. Yeah, you're orange.
Nope.
Oh, no, click first. Okay. Nope, oh.
Wait.
Oh, hello there. This is my presentation on the Clips app. It has cool features like filters. You can be a comic book character.
Amazing.
My personal favorite is the drawing.
Yep.
And you can even go black and white.
Amazing.
It's also super easy to drag and drop and reorder clips. This was the last clip I filmed. So even if you're walking down the street a day later, you can just insert a clip. But watch where you're walking when you video it. One of my favorite features is that it will write out what you are saying if you want to emphasize something. I like to do this app when I'm doing video instructions and subplans. Hey Preston, did you change your shirt throughout this video?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, your zipper's undone.
Oh, shit.
You're showing me your bald spot.
Oh, God.
Love you. Bye.
Stand up, please.
Everybody up. Quick, he's got 15 seconds. Give him a... There you go. All
All
right.
right, there we go. So it is the Clips app. I literally saw this not too long ago, and I had never used it before. It's awesome. I'm great. I don't like you so much anymore. But
All right, you're done.
carpe the scrotum.
All right, thank you so much. Good job. Give them all a big round of applause, please. Give them all a big round of applause. All right, we are about... They did a great job. As you saw, it was pretty smooth for what it was, with about 5 different operating systems being able to finally get them connected. So please spare us just a moment while we're going to get Bitly right up here, so you can actually vote. And all you're going to do is, it's a Google form. You get one shot. You get to say who you like the best. There you go. It's right there. Bitly.com Bit.ly/VSTE Slam Final 17. I don't know why it's 1, but 17. So VSTE Slam Final 17. It's okay. It's not your fault. We don't blame you.
I blame me.
Also, big shout out for Josh, because he is awesome. That's right.
That's my peeps.
That's right. All right, put your stake in to see who's going to win this today. Yes, you two on stage can vote, but you only get one. Yep. Can you do it? Fun fact, who knew if you use the new iOS updates, you can just pull your camera out so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that QR code reader anymore. Oh, I think I learned that from somebody on the stage here. Well, actually, I learned it from Preston originally, so I got to give him props for that one. Sorry, it's just... Oh, Justin. Preston did it, didn't you? No? Oh, okay, never mind. I thought Preston did it his presentation too. I've seen them all. I'm pulling my results up on here, but if you want to... Oh, cool.
So I got it. I got the network working and everything. If you want to pull them in, is it okay?
Oh, man, then I got to figure out how to log in.
Scroll this out. You know what? Let's just go to Google.com. I'm sorry. I should have prepped
No,
this.
it's fine. We didn't think... We should have thought about this, but you had so much else going on, and I was just like, yeah, we're going to do it. I think so. I don't know if we log in anymore, you know? It's all part of it. Shoot.
Or if not, you have it on there, and we can just... We can tell the people. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, they're still doing it. 157, if you haven't voted yet, get your vote in.
There's more than 157 people in the room.
I know it's true.
Ah.
The Visti Wi-Fi is perfect. Why would that affect you? Oh, there it is. Man.
Are you long?
You got his mic.
Yeah.
It should be. No, it's not letting me.
All right. Well, that's okay. Can you make the results just public and we can choose the Google? You have it up there?
Oh, good. Boom.
Here, let's just
You
use
won't
that
be able to.
laptop.
Well, you can't use that laptop because it didn't work before.
There we go.
Michael Spidell. Well, he is right there. Mike, what account are you logged in with there? Are you logged? How are you into
This is
that?
HDMI.
Just Google. I shared it with him, so he should be able to view it.
I know. Hold on, phone.
All right.
HDMI.
Yeah, but we couldn't get it to work before.
We're gonna make it work. All right.
But,
You don't have to show the results. You can always just.
I know. We can just talk about it.
all right.
Okay.
I said we should just keep moving here. So.
We do it. All right, folks. Here we go. We are at 260 results at this moment, and let's see if we can see. Where's the chart? Where's the graph?
Yeah, we got it
on
right
there.
here, but
Here it is. There we go. We can't.
You're all right, Clifton. Switch it back. Thank you.
There you go. All right. All right. Coming in at. Should we go all the way up or just say the winner? Let's just go with the winner. All right. Number one at 40.4%. Drum, 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 is Preston with this Clips app. You can thank Preston and the Apple community. Oh, there you go. Thank you so much. But a big round of applause for everyone else up here because they also have wonderful tools. They were fantastic. Big round of applause for Josh, who's been sweating it all over the place, doing great things for you. Good man, good man. All right, next up, I'm going to move it on back onto Karen because we are going to do some wonderful Ignite sessions. Here we go. All right. Thanks, sir.
Phew. Okay, thanks for playing along, folks. There was a grown-up in the room who suggested just using one computer for that, but, you know, she was shot down, or that unknown person was shot down. Anyway, so I have to catch my breath, but it was fun, though, wasn't it? And I just want to make a quick aside. We were going to call it the Russ Brown Memorial Demo Slam. This actually was an idea from a VSTE participant. He ran the Demo Slam last year. We had so much fun. He said, let's do it as a, you know, like a big event, right? And actually do it. And then Russ was told that he was not allowed to come to the conference to run it. So a big thank you to Sam. Oh, that means you clap for, I'm sorry. And for Mike Spidell, wherever he got to, for stepping in, literally, I'm telling you, literally like Thursday. I'm packing the truck to come, and these guys just stepped it up. So a big thank you to all of those. But again, one of those grassroots things. It was Russ's vision. Russ came to us and said, let's do it, and we made it happen. So think about that. If you've got something and you think, wow, I really want to do that at the conference, come talk to us. Our next half here are our Ignite talks. These, for those of you who may not be familiar with them, 20 slides, 15 seconds per slide. They just run through and the folks talk over them. So that gives them exactly 5 minutes to talk about something related to their passion or things we need to think about or so on and so forth. Before we move forward though, I would like to turn this over to yet one other of our corporate partners, and this is Dick Schultes from ABS Technologies, a great partner of ours. He's gonna get us started on the Ignite talks.
All right, well, I just want to thank you guys. Thank you to the VSTE members. You guys have been fantastic for all of this. And also, as a product of 2 school teachers, myself, I just want to thank all of you. The innovating you guys do is remarkable in the classroom, and plus, it also keeps the lights on over at ABS, let's be honest. For those of you who don't know ABS Technology, we are a networking solutions provider. We've been in Virginia. We are only in Virginia. We've been working with the SLED department and K-12 providers, or K-12 companies, K-12 schools since 1990s. But enough about me, obviously. I know you guys are trying to get to the next step here. So without further ado, He's the man you all know as the voice of VSTE. So please put your hands together, give a warm welcome to Josh Tom.
All right. So, here we go. So the voice didn't have his microphone working. So again, Karen told you that our participants have 5 minutes, and their job is to really get into you and to ignite something in you. They're going to be timed up here. I'm going to introduce them just briefly and get things set up. And so the first person that we have needs no introduction, Mr. Josh Ojima, Dominion High School, Loudoun County Public Schools.
That's my first slide.
Nope, and he wants his full time. All right, who's our timer? Am I our timer? All right. Oh, it's time by itself. Imagine that technology. Josh, you ready to go?
Yep.
Good to go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Zero Things, to talk about diversity, opportunity, and 3D printing. My name's Josh Ojima, but for this talk, that's not important. What's important is design, make, teach, because some of you are going to want to fact check this on the fly, and if you see design, make, teach, that's me, and that does not negate any of my points. So, 2 things about me to help give you some context of what I'm talking about and why I'm passionate about this topic. First of all, I love 3D printing. 3D printing is awesome. Second, I identify as HAPA. I'm half Japanese and half Caucasian, and so that's kind of my identity. That's what piece of artwork that I did. So anyways, outside our media center, there's a themed display cabinet. One day I'm walking by and it's a Martin Luther King Jr. theme, but it's a little sparse, and I'm thinking, I should 3D print something to go into that display cabinet. So I went to the site called Thingiverse. And Thingiverse is this repository of literally millions of things. And so I do a search on Martin Luther King. And I find 0 things. And I search for MLK. And I find 0 things. And King and Martin Luther King Jr., I find 0 things. No problem. I'm an innovator, so I found a picture of Martin Luther King, converted it into a lithophane, published it on Thingiverse. Now there's one thing. I went to Google's Trimble SketchUp warehouse, found a model, converted it to an STL, uploaded it to Thingiverse, and suddenly there are 2 things. Next month, it's Black History Month. So I go into Thingiverse and I type in Black History, and I find 0 things, right? And I search for African American history, and I find 0 things. Right? And so, okay, and I tried a lot of different search terms. So maybe search is broken. So I went on Thingiverse and I searched for Yoda, and I found 269 things that you could download and 3D print on that printer that's in your library that's got dust on it because nobody's opened the box. Anyways, so the next month is Women's History Month. So I searched for women's history, and I found 0 things. And I want to caution you when you search for women on some of these repositories, because sometimes the things are not safe for work, right? Okay, so imagine telling a kid, I want you to be a content creator with this exciting new tool, go find some stuff, and that student finding 0 things that relate it to their interests, identity, heritage, or culture. So, National Hispanic Heritage Month, September, October, new school year. I searched for Hispanic and I found 0 things. I searched for Latino and I found 0 things. I searched for Latino. So maybe we're noticing a trend here. I don't know. Worked with an EL class. The students drew designs in Sharpie. A lot of these students with no computer skills. We took those image, vectorized it, extruded it out into Tinkercad, and we 3D printed it. At the bottom here it says, the student writes, I'm proud to be a Salvadoran, okay? And so we didn't just publish that one design. We took designs from these English language learners, most from like Central America in our school, and we published a class set. Some of them were done in pencil, and they didn't vectorize well, but we got a good number of those designs created by our students and published up, okay? And so we didn't only publish designs, we looked through and we curated. We found other designs out of that million that related to Hispanic, Latino heritage culture, and we created this collection. And so that's cool. We had a description. So we were like having that curator experience. Now, we got that collection featured on the front page of Thingiverse. We are the only curated collection that was done by somebody who was not an employee of Thingiverse or MakerBot. So that was kind of a big win for us. This is how important being on a front page is, okay? That graph at the bottom, not on the front page. Boom, featured thing, spike. Featured collections, it's that lower part, and then off of the front page, boom. Being visible is so important as far as these diversity things go. But anyways, maybe all this identity heritage stuff doesn't appeal to you or isn't relevant. Maybe your zero things is the Chesapeake Bay watershed. A special ed teacher asked me to create this to explain why water in New York ends up in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. Maybe your zero things is geometry. So I don't know if this one's current, but the geometry SOL is nets of a cube. One of those folds up to a cube and one of them doesn't. So I designed a model that you could actually fold up, 3D printed, folded up that model and publish those. Maybe your zero things is finding something that's actually tagged so you can find it and has some descriptions and some context on why this model is relevant and important. This was for the Air and Space Museum. They had some of the Tuskegee Airmen coming to visit. I looked for something, I found zero things. So, what's the lesson? Zero things can become one thing, and one thing can become many things. And so I have a wish for you and your students. I wish for you the joy and the frustration, the excitement and disappointment, but most of all, the opportunity of finding your zero things. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Josh. All right, I'm going to get our next Ignite going on up here. Josh, that was awesome. Thank you. The next person that we have up here, as I look through my email and all of a sudden lost it, here is our chair of the VSTE Board of Directors from Arlington County Public Schools, Keith Reeves, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you ready?
Yep,
Hit go.
I'm ready.
Go.
I'm of the fervent conviction that if we revisit our ideas about assessment, we can drive pedagogy in the right direction. I'm often taught when I speak about the radical and revolutionary things that I espouse in my writing and in my work, where do I start? If there's anything I want you to go home and rethink when you get back to your schools, it's assessment. Understanding why we assess is critical, and the language matters. It is not to understand data. It is not to understand trends. It is to understand our children, to understand the student, what motivates them, what works for them, what doesn't, and in what ways we can improve our practices to make the connections. It is not to, as Gore Vidal said, to ghettoize a student, to take them out of the situation of being a child and putting them into the condition of being a failure, or a B, or an 83, or advanced. Anything that does that is terrible for children. All forms of high-stakes, multiple-choice standardized testing are bad for kids. We know it, you know it, I know it, and it's high time that we changed our practices to show what we can do. Yes, the SOLs are there, but they're the results of teaching, not the targets of teaching. And if we don't understand that, we are perilously close to going into what I call the cycle of misperception. If we misunderstand any part of the child during the iterative cycle of instruction, we will derail good pedagogy. Omnimodal assessment says that any form of skill mastery demonstration by a child is valid. Whether they brought it in from home because they did it over the weekend of their own accord, or they generated it because of an opportunity you created, their voice, their way, their method is valid. Just because you stood up and taught it one particular way doesn't mean that's what's best for that child. And if that child thrives in a way or through a modality that differs from your own, we have a moral imperative and an ethical obligation to change our practices and to expose those students to the opportunities that work for them. The students that show you things during the course of a workshop, if a student says something to you in the classroom, that's student performance data, and you have to count it. It doesn't matter that it's not on a test. It doesn't matter that it's not on a quiz. You have to account for the fact that all of your students learn differently and in different ways over time. We might have a standard progression for a student that comes from one to the next, but if some of your kids learn this way, are they any less valid than any other student? Is their journey any less genuine? It is not. So we have to eradicate any of the gradation of where our kids are. It takes a long time to get to mastery, and it doesn't matter if the kid has their aha moment the first day or the last day. Our assessment systems ought not penalize students that take longer or have a more convoluted route to mastery. It doesn't matter how many times you take it. Why are we taking points off for handing things in late? Why are we taking points off for having to redo things? And why are we talking about retaking instead of reassessing? if we change our attitudes and our practices, even if we're still using many of the same instruments, we will better serve all of our individual students, each one of whom has a jagged learner profile. There's no such thing as an average kid. Why do we design assessment mechanisms that move towards average? There's not enough to say there's certain different ways of being. I have this ongoing argument with Rick Wormley because he says I use the word differentiation wrong. No, I say differentiation is the wrong word because it still has the idea of putting kids into bins. Enough binning children, more being there for children. If we create a rubric that accepts any form of skill mastery, be it the explain everything that you saw, be it a JS timeline, be it a verbal presentation, a song, an idea, a thought, presented to you in a way that you as a professional believe demonstrates skill mastery, then it matters. And don't have that stop. It's not one project at the end of a unit. It goes on and on and on. Get away from summative assessment. Just keep giving your kids opportunities to genuinely show you who they are and what they can do. And don't try to restrict the technology that they can use. Yeah, you might want them to use Explain Everything, but what if that's not the best tool for that kid? Can't they use one of the other 65,000 apps that you learned about while you were here? Every idea that you got here was valid. Every opportunity you afford that kid using that technology is valid too. If you can Google the answer, it's not a good question. Eric said it, I say it in my first book. We've got to give students opportunities to demonstrate their skill mastery authentically in the way that they choose, not in the way that we choose for them. Their voice and choice isn't an abstract idea. It's an innate thing that every human being deserves. And because we love children, we ought not oppress children. Traditional assessment methodologies oppress children. Omnimodal assessment methodologies empower children. So find out what they have to do. Design a rubric that allows for any way of showing what you can do. Give the control over to them. Give up on your ideas about no, we can't, and just do it again and again and again. Go get them.
All right. Thank you, Keith. All right, solving multiple problems at once here. Accept emails not working. Who am I introducing next? Tina. Come on up, Tina. Roanoke County Public Schools, Tina. Thank you very much. Oh, yep, sorry about that. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Yep, go ahead, dear.
Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. Up until recently, I had never heard of the SDGs. And then all of a sudden, my Twitter feed this summer started filling up with people tweeting about them. And then I ended up at ISTE, and I met a bunch of people, and I got in a bunch of sessions where people were talking about these SDGs. So I did a little research, and I discovered that Sustainable Development Goals are really important things that I should have known about, and they are important enough that everybody should know about them. So that's why I'm talking about them today. And you all are the perfect audience to hear about them because you are ed tech leaders, which means you have the power to be able to spread the word. You understand how social networking works, and you understand how powerful technology can be to connect people across the globe. So, a little history. On September 25th, in 2015, 193 countries of the United General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, otherwise known as the Sustainable Development Goals. They're basically the world's action plan to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, fight inequality, tackle climate change, and achieve sustainable development for all. So they're as we want to be as humanity, the future that we want. There's 17 of these goals that have specific targets to be achieved over the next 15 years, or by 2030. Now, if you look closely at the SDGs, you'll notice they're pretty lofty goals. No poverty, zero hunger, gender equality, and you may wonder if they might be a little too idealistic. could we really reach these goals over the next 15 years? Is it possible? Well, to answer that question, we need to look back 15 years at the goals that came before the SDGs, the Millennial Development Goals. These goals were also created by the world leaders at the United Nations headquarters. And the first goal was to eradicate extreme poverty by having the proportion of people living in poverty by 2015. They used a 1990 statistic that said that 36% of the people in the world lived in extreme poverty. Their goal was to have that proportion by 18% by 2015. Now, did that happen? Actually, no. By 2015, the proportion of people in the world living in poverty was reduced to 12%. So we actually exceeded that goal, and progress was made in other areas too. The enrollment for primary education increased 91%. The mortality rate for children under the age of 5 was cut by more than half. And 2.6 billion people gained access to clean drinking water. The new cases of HIV infections fell 40%, and 37 million tuberculosis deaths were averted. So we still have a long way to go, but it actually may be possible if we all work together to end poverty for good. The world can get better. So after looking at what the SDGs were, I began researching how I could help. I wanted to know how citizens, and especially teachers, principals, ITRTs, tech leaders, and even students could help with these lofty goals. I think there's 3 main ways. First of all, learn more about them. There's tons of websites and apps and videos and even free online courses out there that you can take that tell you all about the Sustainable Development Goals and why they're important. Second, start using them in your classroom. Empower your students to help with these goals. After all, it's their world that they'll be solving and their problems. So, there are tons of lesson plans out there. There are tons of projects out there that your students can join. And we talk about things like the 5 C's and PBL, and these are real ways to incorporate those concepts. So here are just a few of the projects that are out there already. And you can have your students create their own, or you can create your own projects to join as well. And finally, spread the word. Use the hashtag #TeachSDGs. Join Global Ed Twitter chats and really get the word out about the Sustainable Development Goals. So Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world." So my challenge to you today is using those Sustainable Development Goals as your framework. Go change the world. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, Tina. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Well done. I should have been high-fiving everybody. All right, good to go. Next up, we have B. Lederman from Goochland County Public Schools. Give it up. All right, I'm getting you set up here. This is what we got. No, it's not you. Your video. Your video.
Yes,
sorry.
Hello?
Here we go. Oh, come on now. Quick time. Doo-doo-doo-doo. You good?
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
When I was a kid, growing up, my parents tried everything they possibly could to make sure my siblings and I were well-rounded individuals. I went to after-school classes every day, sometimes multiple classes a day, and so did my siblings, and even on weekends and during breaks from school. My brother and sister were excellent at all sorts of things, but I tried, it's not playing.
It's not going?
No.
Oh.
I tried everything, even making videos.
All right. All right, let's try from there, B.
Okay. That works. Okay, so I tried everything, and these are just the few things I remember I did as a kid, and nothing stuck, nothing changed me. I was not passionate about anything. I just went from one thing to the next, totally unchanged, and I made it to being a senior in high school with absolutely nothing to take up my extra time. I was really good at doing school, and that was about it. And that's what had made me succeed. But it didn't make me a very happy person. 2.5 decades later, I was the mother of these 2 amazing children. I had a great job at a really good school division doing something I really enjoyed, and I was the wife in a totally disastrous marriage. And the one outstanding feature in my life was my crushing depression. And beyond that, my obsession with my iPhone. I even put it here because I can't be away from it. But it was that obsession with my iPhone that gave me a way out, along with the help from lots of wonderful people, one of them who's my husband now. And I bought this little lens to attach to my iPhone, and I only bought it because it was for my iPhone. And I went outside and I started taking pictures of insects, and I fell in love with insects. I found them so interesting. It became an obsession along with my iPhone, and I go outside every single day to look for something that I can photograph. So this led to an amazing journey. I've written books that have been downloaded all over the world. From those books, it came out that I had lunch with E.O. Wilson, and he loved my books. And I had a viral tweet, and I uploaded a picture to Flickr that was viewed 87,000 times in 24 hours. So the best part about this is that I found this hobby as an adult with the capacity to think about how this was happening and why I was so interested in all this learning. And I talked about it nonstop with my husband. And it all started with social media, because I've never been a very popular person, and I didn't have very popular posts. But all of a sudden I started posting my pictures, and as bad as they were back then, people loved them, and people made comments and said all sorts of silly things about them, and then they started asking questions. And I didn't know the answers to the questions, but I didn't want them to stop looking at my pictures. So I went out and started looking for answers. And it wasn't that easy. So I suddenly stumbled upon, I needed help, and I stumbled upon a huge community of people who loved insects as much as I did. I didn't know that that existed. And it was this amazing thing. They were so generous with their time. They wanted to help. They loved to help. And so this started this cycle of finding a new idea, asking for help, getting feedback, getting new ideas, and I was growing and growing and learning, and it was this awesome loop that kept me going farther and farther and farther into this amazing hobby. And then my husband and I realized that all this fits into 3 little things. Everything is content. You have to have a community with whom to practice your stuff that you do, and you have to have a context where you do things. And if you've attended my presentations, you've seen this. I talk about this all the time now. So content is something that it's everything that you learn, and I find it on websites and magazines and encyclopedias and books and really old books that I dig up in used bookstores, and the tutorials that I find online, and in conversations with people who tell me things. And then there's the community, and those are all the people that I learn from, and all the people that I learn with, and all the people that learn from me. It is my people. And then there is my context, and my context is being an entomologist out in the field. And just because my field is my backyard and I can hear my phone ringing in the kitchen when the landline rings, doesn't mean that it is less authentic. It is a very authentic place. And then there are all my online virtual spaces where I meet with my community of practice. So all of these things are very important to learning. They're what makes content stick. It's the community and the context. And technology is what holds it all up for me. None of this could have been possible without technology. I cannot separate technology and say, I'm the technology person. This is all bound together because it is the technology that brings us the world. It brings us the content. It creates the context. And it gives us our community. So we here are all technology people. And we here are being superheroes, wearing capes. It is our job to inspire the people around us and to lead by example, to help people find their passion. Because if anybody around us, students or adults, finds themselves in a moment of crisis like I did, it is our job to inspire them to find their passion and to live their own journey of joyful learning. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, B. Give it up, everybody. Great job. All right. Oh, yeah, don't forget that phone. Don't forget that phone. All right, next up, we have Michael Weasley from Virginia Beach City Public Schools, who is also known as the self-proclaimed tech smasher. Michael.
Ready for go.
Yep, getting there. Whoop.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Rock it out, man.
All right. I'm the idea fresh out of the classroom guy. I like looking around all the things I can do. Let me Google that for you. Great for your colleagues who don't Google it themselves. It'll give you an animated version of them Googling it. And it's great. It gives you the link. You send it to them in an email, and it shows what it would look like with them Googling it themselves. Hey, this is stinking cute. You know what? This morning I found out it's better to put the QR code on the back. You know, this is an interview with Santa. The kid's pretending to be an elf. I pulled up my nephews from 20 years ago in 1997, and it didn't have a QR code, but it really would have been nice to see what they were like when they were a little kid. So, moving on, Twitter. And Richard Byrne, he's awesome. Your teachers need to follow him and like him on YouTube because he's got those 2-minute tutorials that'll make a difference in your life because you can watch a 2-minute tutorial and go, I never thought about that. He's got great ideas. Alice Keeler, everybody follows Alice Keeler, but if you don't, you're missing out. Webcam record, 30 seconds preset, but you can go up to 90 seconds and it saves right to your drive. You slip it right into a Google Slides with your directions to your kids. And they go watch the slide. Go watch it again. Screencast-O-Matic is great with Screencastify. You can record yourself with the bottom of the corner. You can just record yourself without the computer screen. You can do all of that. And then take your links. Screencastify saves it directly to Drive. Take your links and put it into viewpure.com, and it'll go ahead and take out all the ads. Planbook, about $12. $12 to organize your lesson plans. You drop it all in there with all your links and everything, and you can even print out your sub-plans from planbook.com. No, I'm not a representative. It's just something that made my life a little bit more organized. Sign Up Genius and signup.com. If you don't want to have 26 sets of cupcakes coming to your party, you just put a list on there. The parents can sign up for what they want. I use it for teacher conferences with the parents, and what they did was they signed up for a time and never had to worry about it if they sent the paper back or have to make copies anymore. Just went ahead and signed. Classcraft.com, step up from Class Dojo. It has 3 levels of points. When you take a point away from your kid, you know, when they fall down on a puddle on the floor for 20 minutes, it's really not worth it. This has 3 levels of points you can take away, one, and their teams, and it's kind of cool. Storify.com. Hey, collect all of those cool tweets by Alice Keeler. Put them into a collection. You can collect Richard Byrne's tweets or anything from social media, drag it over and make a collection. And hey, there's a link to mine. You can have all of Alice Keeler's tips on one link thing. Click in it and go. Common Craft, easy. You take a suspended camera, hang it over thing. It's just like those plain English videos from back in the day when the internet was just going. They slide it in, one take, and they narrate it. And it's something that your teachers can run off with and do at any moment. And there's examples even for you. You know, storytelling using Google Maps or Tour Builder. Check it out. You click on, you put in where you're going to go, and it'll bring up all the data, the links, and you can have your story. If you're the Oregon Trail, you can pull up the forts along the way, and it'll bring you all the information in that way. Dotstorming.com, if you didn't see it the other day, you can vote. You can give the kids a different amount of chips, like what they're interested in. You can post cards or pictures, and then they can put in one vote, or if you can give multiple votes to see what they're interested in or what they want to talk about. There's other features too. Mentimeter.com. This is a great way to be interactive with your kids right away. You can go ahead and put in some preloaded questions, and it does various different outputs. So you can put it up on the screen and see where the kids are right then and there. And I can take a breath. Sugarcane.com is very much like Quizlet. You can go ahead and give it a data set. The kids have student agency because of the fact that there's like 20, 25 games to pick from. Once they play the game, they name it. Then they can put it into, it goes automatically into the teacher's dashboard. And what they can do is they can play each other's game. Hey, play my game. And if you are not in Prince William, you probably won't really like some of these if you don't already have them, but go ahead and apply now. You can get them a year later. Readtheory.org, Epic, and ReadWorks are great digital programs where you can go ahead and have the programs track data for you, and it's a great resource for you. Storywars.net, global writing. You can go ahead and have them write like chapter 1, and somebody across the planet can write chapter 2. They take votes on who gets the win chapter 2, and it goes on like that. So they can add to a story or they can put their story out there. GoFormative.com, #1 tool in the tool chest. Look it up, watch a video. It's really great. It's real time. You can see the kids stroke by stroke keying in their answer from the teacher dashboard. You can also do a drawing feature where you can see them drawing, unlike Nearpod where you have to wait for it to spit back to you when everyone's finished. Symbaloo and Padlet. Symbaloo is just like your phone. It collects all the websites, puts them in order. Padlet's a great way that's very flexible to immediately use in your classroom in various ways.
And one of the things that I did is I smashed all of that together with a few other things because I liked not having notebooks. This is my digital journals. My Padlets were free writing. I get to pick the background. Like they like Superman, they can have Superman. And the Google Docs, I went ahead and they would copy and paste it into Google Docs, and they can edit it by each other. And then one link, I can send it to their parents, and the parents could get in there, and so can high school students. And paperless communication, I used Google Slides to suck that into Seesaw. The links were active as soon as the parents opened it up, and I didn't need paper for 5 announcements to go home in my school because Seesaw is free. So that's my presentation in 15 seconds or less. Slide!
All right, give it up. Give it up. Good job. High five. There you go. So, sorry, that was a lame high five on my part, Michael. Thank you. All right. And last but not least, the Vice Chair of the VSTE Board of Directors from Frederick County Public Schools, Ron Cardinal. Come on up. Ready to go, Ron?
I'm ready to go.
All right, here we go.
You're not going to have time in 15 seconds to read what's on this slide, so we'll read them together as they come up one by one. Just the bold parts, please. So as this first one comes up, my timing's a little off, sorry. But I'm talking to you about the Speak Up survey and its purpose. 3 primary objectives for that Speak Up survey. The bold text, please. Right, so you're building a tech plan this year. You'll need that information. You'll need data to support that plan or any other ideas that you're going to try to implement when you go home, okay? So making decisions around that, you'll need some data to support it. Use the Speak Up data to do that. The next one. Right, so stakeholders should have a voice, especially our students. All of your stakeholders, especially our students, should have something to say and a place to say it. Parents need to weigh in. Also, local community members. The next one. Right, public opinion, public support, we're in need of it. Local funding agencies need to know what's going on. People outside of this room are not hearing the conversations that you've had. You need to be able to point to the resources that will let them know what's going on. So Speak Up 2016 told us this, and we heard about this during our spotlight. Are we coding for the future? I don't know. But some of the other things that Speak Up will tell us about. Learning to use technology is important. Those 4 C's, how many of you went to a session where that was mentioned? Some of them even added in a 5th C. Right, that's important. This is the results from students. This is what students are saying. So they already kind of know the themes about what's going on. We need to be able to communicate to that people around who are making the decisions that impact this. So the next one, 56% of students are using technology more often for learning outside the classroom than inside of the classroom. What is that going to tell us about what's already flipped and what needs to be flipped? 42% of students say too many rules in school. This has been the same for the last 5 years in the Speak Up survey. Between 40 and 45% of students, too many rules. I can't get done what I need to get done in school. That's why that last one spoke to why they're doing the work outside of school. So you're popular with the Chromebooks. That was in that SLAM session, a lot of things going on with that. 2 times as many Chromebooks as in 2014. That's a huge jump in the number of devices in classrooms. I know with many of you going to one-to-one using G Suite for Education, that's a huge number. So your school division did it, so did everybody else in the state and across the nation. Speak Up will tell your stakeholders that that's happening all over the place. This is Frederick County's bragging point. 2,500 of our middle schoolers, 80% of our middle schoolers participated. Over half of our high school people participated. But we've been at it for 5 years. So not everybody else has. That one speaks for itself. Speak up, get involved, register your school, register your district. Here's the map. Where are you, or where should you be if your dot was on the map? The green one up at the top, that's Frederick County. We just have a few more to get the yellow one, which means we're speaking up loud and clear. But those folks down around Charlottesville, that's Albemarle County, they're well over 50% participation rate. So here we go. So speakup.tomorrow.org/register. That's how you're going to get involved. That's how you can register your school. You don't need anybody's permission. You just need to give them the school name, the address, and your contact information. Speakup.com or speakup.tomorrow.org, register. Speak Up themes, what they're going to be talking about this year in the survey, the questions they're going to ask rather. Teaching and learning with tech, that's kind of a broad theme for Speak Up. Math instruction, STEM careers, teacher preparation and learning, what's going on there, internet safety, ed tech funding, administrator challenges, online assessment, emerging technologies. Those questions that are on the Speak Up survey, even if folks just read the questions and answer them, a lot of times they're looking at the question going, I don't know the answer. I need some more information. That's when they come and speak to you. The questions when we started long ago were about tablets and the popularity of tablets and e-readers in middle school. That helped us make the decision about where to start with our one-to-one program. The results, those numbers come out. Every year, Speak Up holds a congressional briefing and shares that data with the legislators at the national level to determine where that funding should go and influence some of their decisions. It's pretty easy to get going. Speak Up provides a lot of materials for promotion. You print this out on paper if you like, or send it out however else your channels of communication are. It takes about 20 minutes to take the survey. And that can happen for community members, parents, the students, middle schoolers and high schoolers handle that. Even at the elementary school, you can do that as a group. Takes about 20 minutes, so it's not a huge ask of time. And you've got that week before vacation coming up where there might be some time for that to happen. So suggest that to your people in your schools. So, oh, that one again. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I only had it in there once, but I think I really need to bring that to your attention that more of you need to speak up. So open until January 19th, speakup.tomorrow.org. That's where all that stuff happens, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking up.
Thank you, Ron. High five. Actually, Ron, can I have you come back up on the stage? Can I have all of our Igniters come back up on the stage for us, please? Now, I want to tell you something, right? These people, they didn't travel from another state, right? They were here. They were here with us. Do you feel something in you, in your head, in your heart that is driving you to do something, that you are ignited? I would maybe suggest that this deserves a standing round of applause, please. Thank you all very much for coming out of your comfort zone, for delivering your passion, for igniting something in us. We very much appreciate you being part of our send-off for this 2017 VSTE Conference. Over to you, Karen.
And one more shout out to Josh Tom, who has just spent the last hour, as well as our good buddies from the Hotel Roanoke, who's been helping out too. And actually, I do want one last thank you because I see them back there. And I'm warning you now, you might as well set the timer. I have no limits. There's no 2 minutes. There's no, so this is my time. Back in the back of our opening sessions, there are camera people. There are two of my favorite human beings in the whole world, Brian and Angie Callahan. Wave, please. I met Brian Callahan in 1996 when he helped my middle school in Middlesex County get connected to this new thing called the internet in 96. We were way out in the country. The first month we had to use dial-up down to WHRO. I think they're the Tidewater PBS station. I believe our bill was $3,000 that month, and it may have eaten through the entire grant, right? So we had to turn it on when we needed it and then turn it off again. I don't know if you youngsters out there know how this has worked, but 20 years later, we're mad if a page doesn't load in like 10 seconds. Yeah, okay. That may be why I don't always have as much patience as perhaps I should. But anyway, they have been streaming for us and then archiving these sessions as well. So if you were as inspired as I was by both our Demo Slam folks as well as our Ignite Talk folks, you will be able to see those things later and share them with other people. So again, so we're thrilled that folks, I think I heard some positive reactions in the audience, so we may make this an annual event. So if you're interested in participating in either of those, let me know, let my team know. We'll get you there. I purposely asked Rod to go last because advocacy is going to be the thing that we all need to work on in 2018. And I know not everybody's comfortable picking up their phone phone and calling the representatives or maybe writing a letter to them. Here's a really simple way you can advocate people. Tell your stories. You are doing amazing things in your schools and your classrooms and your communities, and you need to get those words out there. Every time somebody disses education, particularly public education, you need to come right back with a story. And I'm going to give you a quick one. End of the school year, a friend of mine was complaining on Facebook that her kids were going to school and watching videos every day, and she was mad. And so my heart of hearts wanted to come back and defend the teacher. I was there. I taught middle school. I get it. You got stuff to do. The kids have nothing to do. Let's slap up Finding Nemo. But I went to Twitter, and I happened to check out a teacher from Albemarle County, one of the elementary schools. The kids were outside. They were taking tin cans and nailing them to the wall in the playground and making musical instruments out of them. It was the coolest project I had ever seen. And so they're busy playing their walls and stuff. I'm thinking, which school do I want my kid in? The one where they're sitting watching Finding Nemo for the 25th time in their life? Or the one where they're creating outside? They were holding hammers. And I know that makes some of you nervous, but it was cool. So I couldn't go back on Facebook and defend. I went back on Facebook and said, maybe you want to share this video with the teacher of your kids. So those are the stories we need to get out there so that we counteract those negative stories that we keep hearing. That's the simple way to do it. Step up, take the Speak Up survey for us. The more data we get, the better. Call your representatives. So today is actually the National Day of Action. Title IV Part A funding is the federal funding that's going to cover educational technology, health and wellness for our students, music programs for our students, and it is horribly under attack. There are people who want to take it out completely. Go on Twitter. Look for the hashtag #RaiseTheCaps. Follow along with those people. A bunch of us signed up to have a tweet go out at 2 o'clock today. So if you do Raise the Caps, your Twitter feed is full of people saying to Congress, raise the caps. Keith Reeves, our board chair, spoke eloquently about net neutrality. I know it's a hard concept to understand, perhaps. Go to VSTE.org, search on net neutrality. We wrote a primer for you in 2014. It is still very much real today, same ideas. But on December 14th, the FCC is going to vote to end net neutrality. And that means that suddenly you may not be able to get Netflix where you are because your internet service provider doesn't include it in their package. Or you may not be able to get Hulu because your internet service provider throttles it so badly that you can't do it. They're going to vote for it. We know they are. It'll immediately go into the courts, but we need to keep track of this. It may not impact you in your schools. We just don't know, but it's going to impact your kids when they take their devices home. If you have a kid who has one ISP and another kid who has another ISP, they may not have the same access when they get home. This is essential for us. Look to VSTE. We're going to be doing a lot with this in 2018, but I'm going to end with this. Tell your story. You got 280 characters. Shoot out a video, take some pictures, and tell your story, people. We need you to do that for us. A couple other quick just reminders. We didn't make a big enough deal out of this, I don't think. In your bags was a little square. VSTE is the state affiliate for the International Society for Technology and Education. If you've ever been to an ISTE conference, multiply this literally by like 20, and that's who's going to be there. The conference is in Chicago this year at the end of June. But joining ISTE allows you to become more involved in a national and international community of educators like you. Bea talked about finding her people. You will find your people there at ISTE. It is a membership fee. VSTE, of course, is free. ISTE does cost money, but from now until January 5th, if you use the coupon code VSTE18, you will get a $35 discount off your ISTE membership. And just as a aside about how cool VSTE is. We had the opportunity to take $10 out of that. You'd get 25, I get 10. No way, folks. You get the whole $35 off. Go join now by January 5th, VSTE18 coupon code. Do it for a year. See how it works for you and judge it that way. So I didn't want you to miss that out of your coupon code. A hearty shout out, folks, to everybody who presented. If you presented, give me a wave. Woo! If you have not done so, presenters, and you are willing to, please put your presentations in our Google Plus community. And it's just VSTE Google Plus. For some reason, I'm having to moderate everything, so if it doesn't show up right away, we'll get it up there for you. But if somebody in the audience knows how to turn everybody from a limited to a real member of my Google Plus community without me clicking 1,698 times, I'd really appreciate hearing that. That'd be really helpful for me. Might be a special prize in it for you. All right, I think I did that. Did I miss anything, Craig? Okay, good. So, you got to meet the board members on Monday. Wonderful group of human beings. Some of you have asked me how you can get involved. VSTE board elections are held April-May timeframe. We will be opening up nominations in January. We elect 5 board members every year. You serve a 3-year term, and you may serve 2 of those. You could serve for up to 6 years. It's really an opportunity to impact what we do as an organization, and we just have an amazing board right now. They're passionate. If you can't tell that, Keith Reeves can be a little passionate about stuff sometimes. Rod Cardinal's terrific, but all the board is. So we have wonderful people on our board. I know there are many of you in the room, though, who would really like to be part of the next group I'm going to thank, and that is the conference committee. So I need the green shirt folks. Come on, guys. Look at them. They're like this shy group of people. I agree. So a lot of people have come up to me and said, hey, thanks for such a great conference. Thanks for doing such a good job. And I'm like, yeah, I did nothing other than, write a few scribbled notes or something. We work on the conference for about 10 months out of the year. We give them a break in January. We rev back up in February. We start planning, and then we come together for this event. Most of them are volunteers. We do pay a couple little stipends to folks. Most of them are volunteers. They are taking time off work. They're doing things ahead of time. This doesn't just come together on Friday afternoon in the Pine Room, and we all show up in Roanoke. And they are just terrific. There is never a time where one of them doesn't step up and say, let me do that. Can I fix that? Can I do that? When I transferred the Ignite slides to a different laptop, all my 15-second transitions went away, and Margaret just said, I'll fix it for you. Don't worry about it. And she stepped right in and did it. You saw Josh, and I could tell stories about all of them. I am going to introduce all of them, and I'm going to actually go from the bottom up, because I'm going to say nice things about somebody special. So our equipmenting and networking people, you know how your projector's all set up, and if something doesn't work, you say something and someone appears. That is led by Wanda Parker. Wanda. Wanda's team includes Tracy Coles, give us a wave, Josh Tom, and John Wilkinson. Presentations committee, those are the folks who sorted through the over 300 proposals that we got to figure out how we were going to craft this. They're the folks who tried to play around with the innovates and some other stuff. Marie Hone, chair. Will Marie Avilas, I'm sure I killed your last name, Will Marie, but Rich Kinsey, Mary Smith, Tim Stalmer. Events and logistics, they're the folks who are making sure you get the sandwich that you want. They're the folks who are making sure that the kid talks went well. If you didn't have a chance to talk to the kids on Sunday, I'm sorry, because they were just awesome. They put that together. Sometimes they run around in M&M costumes. They make sure signs are in place, and they are led by Karen Busher, chair. Meredith Allen and Joe Harden. Meredith and Joe. On-site registration, again, that first happy voice that you see, those people who are handing you the bags and making sure your name tags are right, all those good sorts of things. Gina Powell is the chair. With Misty Van Hook, Misty, and Joan Schlegelmilk. Is she here? Okay. Okay, good. Volunteers in gifting. If you were lucky to be a presenter, you got some nice presenter gifts and you got those capes. They all come from our volunteers in gifting committee. Ruthie Dixon, chair. And Tracy Volts and Sharon McGlone are part of her committee. I'm old and I'm only so good at social media because I just don't do this very well. And my phone is no help with that autocorrect stuff that comes on. So this year we started a new social media committee. If you've, when Scheninger said we were tweeting machines, that part of that is because of these people. Tamara Letter is the chair. And Margaret Sisler is right along with her. We also pulled out a video committee this year so we could make sure that we captured lots of sort of on-the-spot exciting things, whether it's time lapses of things being set up like the Dome, or it's just chats with people. We have a video committee, and that is led by Heather Causey. And Tim Owens is her help. The woman you really want to be good friends with right now is our exhibits and sponsorships coordinator. She is the one that pesters the life out of the vendors for 48 hours, right? To make sure that she gets you the best door prizes ever. And that is Peggy Powell. So on Monday, we honored Rhonda Miller with the Vista Hero Award. Rhonda was a longtime member of the committee. She was also the chair of the committee for the last 7 years that I've been involved. Rhonda leaving left me a little breathless, right? This woman who just, you may not know this or not, I'm not very detail oriented, like I'm one of those big picture people, but what time does that session start? I have no idea, right? I need someone on site who really gets it together, who throughout the entire year makes sure that every one of those little details is in place. Who was going to take over for Rhonda? And we found a guy who just is amazing. He tweeted me at 7:15 one morning, and he tweets, Karen, and I really was up with a cup of coffee in my hand, but I was like, what are you doing? I woke up, this is what I'm thinking about, Karen. This is what I'm thinking about. Amazing man, and we are so thrilled to welcome him, and I hope he understands that he cannot leave the committee until I retire. And that is Craig Spraggins. Plus, he taught me how to use Bitmoji, and now I'm just a nightmare with the Bitmojis. So we love that. I was like, where did you get those pictures of yourself with all those cute little things? So we love Craig. Anyway, that's our thank you to those folks. I'm going to turn this over to one of our committee members, Heather Causey, along with Josh. We had folks doing really short little videos about their aha moments. We have chosen the winners for those, and Josh and Heather are going to take care of that. And then that will lead us directly into what you've really all been waiting for, door prizes.
Hey, so thank you, Karen, very much. Hey, so we really love getting your feedback and hearing about what's getting ready to go on as you go out of here. And what Heather and her team did with this was really great. So I'd like to call up 6 people. Rich, you're a little distracting with all the bling. Can I have Jackie Calder, Heidi Trudeau, Heidi Trude, Amelia Buchanan, Elizabeth McDowell, Mara Lambert, and Stacy Taylor. Would you all come on up, please? We're very thankful for your thoughts and for your passion and for what you are getting ready to take back into your communities with children, with teachers, with parents, and with your family. Thank you, and we hope that you have a great trip home, and thank you for a wonderful conference.